Just like in the intro sequence, in today's video, I am going to be showing you how to transform your gimbal shots from this to this, just by implementing these 6 new tips that I'm going to be sharing with you. If this sounds interesting, just sit back, relax, let's figure this out. These are just things that I have discovered along the line and they kind of work for me. And the first thing on this list is to make sure that you have a properly balanced gimbal. Now, regardless of whichever kind of gimbal you are using, balancing is so important. And to get the best shots with your gimbal, always make sure that you take some time, balance the gimbal. And talking about balancing of gimbals, I have another video on this channel which specifically talks about balancing a gimbal. You can click up here to watch that particular video. There's nothing so heartbreaking than not balancing your gimbal properly and using it. 1, it lessens the lifespan of your gimbal. 2, it introduces this kind of micro jittery shakes into your footage, which are very hard to eliminate during editing. Use your gimbal in underslang mode. Most people are accustomed to just picking up a gimbal and shooting just right from the eye level, just using it straight. However, just flipping the gimbal around and getting it close to the ground would make a whole world of a difference. Just look at the differences in these shots. This first shot is just shot from eye level. The next shot is actually shot using the underslang mode. Just look at the difference, right? So it makes a huge difference. Regardless of the kind of gimbal you are using, just switching your camera into underslang mode makes a world of a difference, which naturally leads me to the next point, which is always having foreground in your elements. Again, regardless of the kind of gimbal you are using foreground or introducing foreground elements into your shot is gold, guys. Just look at these 2 shots in comparison. This other one uses foreground elements and this other one doesn't. And so that explains why point 2 is so powerful, which is getting your camera closer to the ground. Because even if you don't have, let's say, objects in this case where you have these tree stumps right in front of the camera, just the floor or the ground can already be a very good foreground element, because you realize that your scene is divided into various layers. So the immediate part of the ground that is closer to you becomes the foreground, your subject becomes your midground, and far away over there, as you can see in the mountains, those sides become the background. So having this tree clearly separated would actually level your gimbal shots, thereby taking it to the next level. Another tip to taking this whole thing to the next level is by using zoom lenses or longer focal length lenses. Now, what does this do to your scene? It compresses the scene. Just look at this same scene shot with a wide angle lens or at a wider focal length and also at a longer focal length. Now, the first shot you are seeing is actually shot using the 14mm of a zoom lens. Now, the next shot you are seeing is shot at a 75mm of a zoom lens. Just look at the difference, guys. Just by zooming in, you realize that the foreground is kind of moving faster than the background, and this makes for a very cool, dreamy shot. And regardless of whichever gimbal you are using, this is another cheat code, guys. Just zoom into the shot and trust me, already 0 to that top level. But be warned, guys, zooming in already introduces shakes into the shot, especially if your camera or the lens you're using doesn't have internal stabilization. You need an internally stabilized lens in order for this thing to really work. Trust me, even though you are using a gimbal, the more you increase the focal length, the more shaky the footage becomes. You start having this micro jittery shakes in the shot. So this is something to keep in mind, that if you want to use longer focal lengths, make sure the lens has some form of stabilization, or make sure to do the ninja walk. I'm going to make another separate video on this channel talking about the ninja walk, because it is so important, especially if you want to make it taking very quality gimbal shots. In the intro sequence, just look at the lady's face. I actually compressed the background in this sense, so as you realize, both the background and hair are moving at totally different speeds altogether. Just look at the shot, guys. It looks really, like I always say, very sweet. Every element is moving at a separate speed. So compressing the background is the way to go if you also want to up the quality of your gimbal shots. The last tip I'm going to be giving you is to make sure that you plan your shots ahead of time. Guys, I can't stress this fact enough. One thing beginners do so much is you just put your camera on your gimbal, balance it, and they are excited, bobs your ankle, they are ready, and they start to shoot. You are excited about your next shoot, but take your time. just cool down, plan ahead of time, take some time, write down some facts, know exactly what you want to shoot. And that also comes into play if you want to use natural transitions, because if you know what you are doing, then you are already shooting for the edits. Now, what do I mean by shooting for the edits? When you are shooting, you already know how the whole piece is going to come up together. And so the way you shoot it is different from just shooting randomly and getting to editing and now struggling to piece everything together. Trust me, planning would also help you in the editing process, not just by upping your gimbal shots, but even on the editing bench, you would thank your God that you spent some time in planning. I know this is not a sexy topic. We all want to talk about the next camera, the new gear. Yes, but trust me, planning is really, really, really important. And if you want to become a professional in this game, planning makes a whole world of a difference. So spend time in pre-production. Don't rush into production. Spend some time, plan the shots way ahead of time before jumping into this. If you're just finding this video for the very first time, this is Africa Amaze channel where we talk about cinematography, photography, editing, and all its related branches. If you have any further questions, you can DM me on Instagram at OBL_Junior, and I will gladly respond to every single one of your messages. And trust me, on this channel, I respond to every single one of your comments. So alternatively, you can leave comments in the comment section below, and I'll personally reply to every single one of your messages. And you know what? Let's talk about the sponsor of this video, which is you. You, the person watching me right now, is a sponsor of this video. And how do you sponsor this video? By clicking on the like button, because you know what? It goes a long way in helping other people discover this channel right here on YouTube. And so, like always, like I do it on this channel, until next time, keep practicing filmmaking. Peace out.